Hello.
Sorry.
All right, I gotta stop laughing.
Yeah, we gotta get clean audio.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Hoop Troop podcast. I am Matt O'Connor, and joining me as they will on all of our episodes are my cousin Luke Drobner,
So, guys,
my brother Mike O'Connor,
Hello.
and friend Mark Pump. Yeah,
not even
we haven't-
say hi, Mike. Hi,
No,
Mark.
he
No, I
doesn't-
mean, you guys do it's the same.
he's so anti all of this that he's lurking in the background. You can see him, but he's really not here. Anyway, before we got on here, we were talking about. I'll start with Luke. Luke doesn't have a meal in front of him, which is his new staple.
I have a tasty beverage.
Yeah, we're all enjoying
Yeah,
ourselves,
we're all
and we're all enjoying a nice drink. It's
cold
Wednesday
one.
night on what is it? Deadline Eve, I
Deadline
guess I'll
Eve.
call it.
Nice.
So, little trade deadline podcast. Why not?
Honestly, we couldn't have picked we've been struggling, and I will change what I said. I have been struggling to be able to find the time. I've been letting the troop down in finding a time to pod, but I feel like a Deadline Eve podcast is the move.
Can someone pick that up on air, please? I don't know whose phone that is, but
It's
can you answer?
definitely. I guarantee you, it's my grandma. He's gonna get it.
Hell yeah.
100% my grandma, and it's like about nothing. Her microwave.
Give her a dial in. Letlet's get her on the horn.
Oh my God!
Our first guest of the evening is
Nana. Oh no, Nana can't handle the pod.
She
about us some hot takes.
But yeah,
Lonzo Ball.
no, I know. So
That is
by
a
the
good
time
point.
we even release this, the trade deadline might be passed. A
No
lot
way
of
I edit
information
this
will
tomorrow.
probably be wrong. And so we're realistically in a weird spot, but probably a good time to talk about all of it.
I've seen some good stuff on Twitter too. There's a lot of rumors going around.
Well, I like the rumors, except like it's all Victor Oladipo and then like Aaron Gordon, and I don't overly care about either of
Not
them.
Lonzo Ball.
There's some Drummond talk.
There is some Drummond
Oh
talk. but
man,
Drummond's gonna be a
yes, the
buyout.
Drummond talk because I need that.
I need Drummond on the Lakers now because they're bleeding out over
Yeah.
the toilet.
Why are the Lakers so bad?
Well, because everyone's hurt.
Well, yeah. I don't think
they
they were built to win games without LeBron or Anthony Davis. I don't think that was in Rob Pelinka's master plan.
No.
But do you think it's just? I feel like it's short-sighted to see the rumors that they're thinking about gutting Harrell, Schroeder, and
I think they're just trying to get value.
I think if you could trade either of them and somehow get Kyle Lowry to your team, no one's beating Kyle Lowry, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. No.
Yeah, I agree.
So like even if you get rid of all of those guys, like you'll
love
get
Kyle
people
Lowry.
on the buyout market to fill their spot, and like whatever. If you have to at least in the regular season play Jared Dudley some minutes to get wins, like
He's injured. He tore his ACL, buddy.
that's right. I forgot about
Or
that.
MCL.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
One-legged Jared Dudley. Why not? No, but like I think they'll ultimately be fine as long as and like even if you get rid of like Taylor Horton Tucker, which probably isn't ideal, but
They don't want to. They're not moving him. They're not going to move him.
all right. But I'm just saying.
Why wouldn't you move him? Like he doesn't have this upside where it's like, oh, he's going to be a good player. He might be a solid role player. He might be a starter quality player, but like realistically, like would you not add him to a trade for Kyle Lowry? Would you not add him to a trade for one of these guys who's going to help you win a championship right now, which is your goal, right?
But who else is like? Would you make the trade for DeMar DeRozan? Like, is that who else is really there that's going to help their team?
No.
Like Siakam right now is not having a good time on Toronto. I might
That's
trade
a nightmare.
Kuzma and someone else for Siakam. Problem is you have to make the contracts work out because Siakam's making 30 mil. So
I don't think they're going to trade him. I don't think they can.
Yeah.
He's kind of the center of what they're building, and like if he's a little unhappy, they'll figure it out.
yeah, but
He also sucks.
that's
He
Siakam.
does kind of
Yeah.
suck. Yeah.
As a third or fourth option on the Lakers, would you not take that?
No, but I guess the major issue right now is like to not fall out of the playoffs or into the play-in tournament because like
Imagine-
the West is really tight and
And
Imagine the defensive potential your team would have if you had a Schroeder, LeBron, Siakam, Anthony Davis, Andre Drummond
you're-
lineup.
well, the Lakers already have the number one like when healthy, like they're the best defensive team in the league.
And are
So they don't need more.
Are there any questions about how healthy the two of them are going to even be when they come back? Like, are they in a rough? I feel like the Lakers are in a little bit of a scary
Yeah,
situation.
We're in
I don't think
full-blown
LeBron's
panic
actually
mode.
hurt. LeBron's like, ooh, ow, ouchie.
I
high
think
ankle sprain.
that's a high ankle sprain is pretty bad. I got one
Okay,
of those in
but-
college, and granted, I tore a ligament when I did it, and like it stunk. It
Was
was
that
really
when you were in the boot?
the
That was,
boot.
like,
Yeah, it was
junior or
sophomore
something?
year.
Yeah,
Sophomore
but
year? Okay.
the reports that LeBron has a high ankle sprain and the actual injury that he has, I think, are probably different.
I was talking to you guys about this like 6 months ago and was saying that LeBron will twist his ankle and then tie his shoes tighter and keep playing, and like
Yeah,
he doesn't sprain his ankle, and
you cursed him.
yeah, so I take full responsibility if he wants to
He
come here
seems
and
to be,
beat my
he seems
ass.
to be okay though. Like they're not. He'll be fine.
I still think
I
the
mean,
AD
sure.
injury is the scarier of the two.
Mhm.
Just because
Yeah.
he's younger and realistically he is kind of your succession plan when LeBron does
Potter,
age.
yeah.
So like that one is definitely more concerning. Granted, he didn't tear anything. It's like it's not that bad, but still, he's giant and bad knees. Like that's not great.
So-
Or is it his Achilles? What was it?
It's Achilles. Well,
Yeah,
like it's he's at risk. There was some sort of like calf aggravation, which is why he's sitting there. Like, but
It's the same thing Kevin Durant had, and then
yeah, exactly, which is
Warriors threw Kevin Durant.
terrifying because there's like no like they should just sit him until the playoffs until they absolutely need him, but like there's no guarantee. Basically, there's a bunch of like tiny tears,
Right.
and that have to rest. But like, I don't know if there's ever a definitive moment where it's like, okay, you're healthy and not at risk. But like Anthony Davis, obviously tearing his Achilles would be catastrophic to like
Totally.
my livelihood. You know,
Well, I mean, it would.
that's what
other
I'm
than
really
that,
concerned.
which
Yeah.
So let's assume they both come back healthy for the playoffs, and you're not in the play-in. What's the move that the Lakers are making? Is the only real
I don't
thing?
think
They're the
They don't have to
seventh
do
seed
anything.
playing
They'll
the
be fine.
Suns.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Like,
But is the move what they're going to do by the deadline or the buyout market? Is they're on the Drummond radar, but I feel like nothing else is really on the Lakers.
well, I would do the Drummond thing because like at least it's just a buyout. Like, but if you have to gut your team for like dirty Kyle Lowry, who's just flops.
Why do you
and,
hate Kyle Lowry so much?
I like
I
Kyle.
could go on and on. Okay, I mean he's got a giant dump truck ass, so that's
Exactly,
in his
Let's not
favor.
polite, Mark.
That's in his favor. So like, he's just kind of he's a flopper, kind of a cheater, kind of a dirty player. Injured Aaron Gordon.
Would you do a KCP for Norman Powell swap?
Interesting. I don't think the
Would they
Raptors
do
would
that?
I don't think they
no.
would. Yeah, I don't think the
Yeah.
Raptors would do it.
No, Norman
Would you
Powell's
trade
good.
a first-round pick, KCP, and Taylor Horton Tucker for Norman Powell?
No,
No.
Absolutely
Also,
not.
do the Lakers even have a
That'd be-
first rounder? to
no, they definitely don't.
Maybe
you
some
get a
swaps or
second-round
something,
pick.
but they're probably
Maybe
not.
some. I feel like New Orleans owns all of our picks for the next 30 years.
I mean, they own most.
They've got a lot of
people's.
picks, which
them
is
and the
why
Thunder.
it's interesting. Like they're desperately trying to offload Bledsoe, and I'm seeing the stuff about the Knicks potentially doing the first and Bledsoe, or
I want that
Lonzo,
so bad.
or Lonzo with Bledsoe. I kind of, as a Knicks fan, I wouldn't mind Lonzo coming in as our point guard and trying to.
If I'm a
revive him.
contender and I want Lonzo, like why wouldn't I take Steven Adams, Lonzo in a first for whatever trash the Pelicans want?
So here's why. One, Lonzo is going to ask for like 20 million this offseason, and he just doesn't deserve 20 million a year. Like what?
Fine, then
What has
let
he
him walk.
done this year?
hold
He's
on.
finally
I do have
shooting like
to-
a little over league average from
Luke-
three, and like he's fine. He's perfectly fine.
Lonzo Ball
I
is an above average defender. He's an above average playmaker. He shoots 39-40% from three.
I think you're paying for potential, not for the actual production.
I
And
did
I
go
think-
on the record shitting all over him, and then he did like start just shooting lights out from three. Like Luke was saying, like if he can like start hitting it from three, and I'm like, yeah, that's a huge if. And then he's just gone on an absolute tear.
He's good. He's a
I also
very good
think-
player.
yeah.
He can guard 1 through 3 easy.
I thought you were gonna say 1 through 5.
Yeah. But I also just think it's like the perfect situation where he has the black hole inside that's Zion drawing so much attention. Brandon Ingram in his own right does, and then Lonzo's just there like diddling off to the side, waiting to take a jump
But,
shot.
but
He doesn't shoot open shots. Not every shot he shoots is open. He
I
hits
know,
good
and a lot of
shots.
them are off the dribble, but still, like I just think it's
there's something there. He's a massive point guard with a very high basketball IQ, and I think that's something that can be.
I think paired next to I think he'd be really like he's like Malcolm Brogdon. That's kind of how I see it.
He can't score like Brogdon.
Brogdon gives me way more confidence just to like I know what he's going to give me every night. I feel like Lonzo does not have that same floor.
Lonzo's
Maybe he has a
gonna give
higher
me-
ceiling just because he is like You know,
Lonzo's like a high-paced Brogdon. Then he's gonna give me Lonzo. I'd rather have Lonzo on defense, and I think Lonzo pushes the ball harder, makes a little more plays for people. But Brogdon is 100% a better scorer.
he's just way more consistent. And like, I just really think, and that is honestly probably on both ends of the floor. Like, I do think Lonzo is probably, when he wants to dial in, a better defender, but like Brogdon's nothing to scoff at. Like, he is pretty good at it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I think Brogdon's an above-average defender, but I don't think he's great like Lonzo. Also, Malcolm
wow.
Brogdon is 28 years old. Lonzo Ball is what?
Malcolm
He's the
Brogdon's
same age as
that-
me.
He's
That old?
28.
Yeah,
No
Lonzo's
way.
23. Yeah.
There's Malcolm
He was a
Brogdon.
five-year
There's
senior.
no way Malcolm
He
Brogdon
was,
is
he was a
28.
redshirt senior when he got drafted in the second round. He got a
Jeez.
master's degree from UVA. He's 28 years old.
Wow. What did he study in grad
Engineering
school?
of some type.
Wow,
He's like a
hell
mechanical
yeah.
engineering student.
He's
a
using
really
that on
cool
the
guy.
court. He's using that.
I cannot believe he's 28.
Well, it's just if you use Julius Randle as like your 26-year-old proxy, Brogdon being older than him makes no sense to me. It just feels
That is
like he's
weird.
younger.
That's really weird.
Julius
That's
Randle I
also,
feel
like-
has been in the NBA for 30 years.
Who?
Julius Randle. I mean,
Julius
because he was on the garbage, like he broke his leg like rookie year with the
Yeah.
Lakers, and like he was on like those last few Kobe years.
And he was on the Pelicans.
Are we gonna
and, like, that
are we
was a
gonna gush?
disaster.
Are we gonna gush about Julius Randle right now? Because
You
I
can. Do you like legitimately like? Do you want Julius Randle to be a Knick forever?
So I'm in a weird spot because, like, if he's gonna play like this, then yeah. Even if he plays a little worse than this, absolutely. But it's just like nothing in his career was like this at all. He didn't pass like this. He's never shot like this. He really hasn't done anything like this. And now all of a sudden he's just good. It's the
Right.
weirdest
Empty
thing. Like, it's-
minutes.
but so many other players, if you look at like their trajectory to get to being good, like it just doesn't add up. Like what he's doing.
I think
That's why I'm still afraid that all of a sudden, like some circumstance changes, he's not the primary option and he's bad and taking up a ton of money. But because like I don't think
Not a
he's going to
first
be the
option.
I don't think he's the number one option to lead you to a championship. But that said, like I don't like obviously.
Yeah, no one does.
But like if you say you take Kawhi Leonard, who is probably gonna be a free agent this summer, and just say he's like, you know what, I'm done with the Clippers. I want to go play with Julius Randle and Knicks. Just for argument's sake, that's not happening. I'm saying it's not happening. I'm not doing like the LOL Knicks, but I want to go play for Tibbs and Julius Randle. That team doesn't win a championship.
Matt,
Kawhi Randle,
do you run a Knicks Twitter page?
I do, but I don't like that team isn't winning a championship. It's not.
I think the thing that I haven't given Julius Randle my trust until probably the past 2 weeks. I have not trusted it the whole season. I'm like, what's exactly like what is happening? Is this just a crummy team where he's looking good on a bad team? Or whatever? But I think he's legitimately great, and
I think
we can extend him. With the extension that we can give him this year, we actually don't break the bank on paying for him. I think he's an excellent second option. He's very good at shooting. His 3-point percentage is super high.
I don't even
I
know
think-
if he's a second option. I think he's the third best player on a championship team.
Probably, but even
But, like-
so, like that's why if you give him after this year, if you give him like a 4-year extension, like what is this, Mark? You have
At a
something you want to
reasonable-
talk
I do have breaking news
about? Oh baby.
from Kevin O'Connor. The New York Knicks have emerged as serious contenders, as a serious potential destination for Cavaliers big man Andre Drummond.
No, why? Why?
I don't know. I
Things
mean,
the Knicks just don't.
I just
need.
want to say the Ringer is trash, and the fact that
Ringer is
he
trash.
got this from our Ringer source, I don't even.
Sure.
Read it.
but Kevin
Like,
O'Connor is
he's
reputable.
connected. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty connected.
I don't like the Ringer. That's just
I
me.
am.
Yeah,
I'm
top sources.
distraught. This is like so dumb. We have a young center who should start. What is Drummond gonna do? Come off the bench and like, yay, we'll magically win like 2 games over
It's the
500.
same
and lose
situation
the-
he had on the Cavs. If he went to the Knicks, it's the Cavs.
It's literally the same
Just gets
situation. And the
rebounds on
Cavs at least
garbage
get it.
teams.
He has no reason to be on that
But-
team.
I don't know how credible trending NBA is on Instagram, but they were saying that there's some discussions about Lonzo for Mitchell Robinson. So what if we're doing some weird thing where Drummond's coming in?
It's also weird.
That's
It's
also
so
a dumb.
strange.
Does that make your team better?
No, no, it doesn't. And I hate this team. I hate this. Oh my god.
We're getting there.
If we
I want so badly right now for like just an absolute like RJ Barrett and a first rounder for or RJ Barrett and like 3 first rounders for like Norman Powell.
They're just, I don't know. And I know Tibbs is like barking grossly at Leon Rose saying, get me good players who they're just going to hamstring the organization for another 10 years like the past regimes did. It's just a nightmare. It's clockwork. I'm tired of it.
I think we do have good players. We're 500 and we're a playoff team.
Even if you put some of the best players on this Knicks team, they are not winning a championship. They're not.
Remember when you would hit the sim lottery on Tankathon and you guys would get like the first and the fourth pick? Remember that? Wouldn't you rather have that than the 7th seed?
Literally, yes. 100% yes. This year has like 5 prospects who could literally be franchise changing.
Cunningham, Mobley, Suggs, Jalen Green's looked really good.
And Kuminga. They're like the 5 of them are
Kuminga's
all
been,
I don't know, he looked pretty good in the G League bubble. But that's my point. It's like, what are we doing? Literally, we just said Julius Randle probably has to be a 3rd option. So who are the other 2 we're getting?
I mean, RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
Barrett does look better, but again, what is the timeline? Like,
I think there's something to be said about if we tanked organically, like if we were trying and the team looked good, but we were losing tough ones, we got blown out every once in a while and we got a lottery pick, then fine. But I think there's something about like trying to see progress and trying to improve,
but like
on a lot of levels. My like I've hated the past few years. Like it's hard to watch. Like I have not enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying every night I watch. Even when we lose, I'm like, I see the good things that are happening, and even though we lost, it's still kind of a win because the more we lose, the better chance we have at a pick. But if we keep winning and we're in the playoffs, there's signs of improvement that I think are important for not just like trying to get somebody to come, but that'll happen. I don't know.
But like the Magic did that. We're the Magic right now.
But they're in Orlando.
Okay, and like, what's the point? Even if we literally just said if you bring the top available free agent to this team, they're not winning shit. Like we're the Magic.
I mean, let's say you bring the top available free agent in. Let's say the top available free agent in 2021 is Kawhi Leonard. You bring in Kawhi. RJ Barrett has a year to develop without Kawhi there. Another year. Or is it this summer?
No, it would be this offseason.
This summer? Okay. I mean, let's say RJ makes another great stride and comes in the next season as a 2nd option next to Kawhi. And then you have Julius Randle. You bring in someone else. But that's all riding on if you can attract a Kawhi Leonard, right?
Again, that's best case scenario. And also like that's the thing it breaks down to too is like the pieces who are going to be on your team 3-4 years from now when you are doing that push. Is Drummond one of them? No. Realistically, no. How much are you paying Andre Drummond to come like get rebounds when you already have Mitchell Robinson?
He's also he's a good defender, and I understand what Mike's saying. Where if you offload Mitchell Robinson for some type of value, if you can get some role players or something, but
why? Like literally, we are like celebrating Cleveland for saying Jarrett Allen's going to be the future center. Andre Drummond's irrelevant for this team. They're in a similar situation where they have a few young guys in Sexland, him, Okoro. Like it's a good young core.
Wait a minute.
Potential.
Do you remember when we were arguing with Tim about Jarrett Allen versus Mitchell Robinson, and Tim was saying that Mitchell Robinson is better?
I mean, I do think that, but besides
still,
they're
still
similar.
Think that?
They're both very, very similar players. I think Jarrett Allen offers a little more.
I think so too.
But anyway, my point being,
I think so
like
too.
we're
Tim's
saying,
going to listen. Right.
For that same reason that we're saying, good job Cleveland for not paying Andre Drummond next year. The Knicks are going to do it now, and like suddenly that's going to get them good. We're going to win stuff. Maybe you become a 4 seed and lose in the 2nd round. Maybe.
Right, so I ran the Tankathon Sim lottery. They have you at 17 and 20, so those picks didn't change, and it didn't change anything. But they have you drafting Zaire Williams, who's a wing out of Stanford. He's okay, and they have you drafting Sharif Cooper, who they have listed at 6'1", but he's not 6 foot. And when they measure him at the combine, he's going to measure out at like 5'10", 5'11". So, but he's really good. He's averaging like 9 assists on Auburn. He runs that team. So,
I just think like this. Yeah, it's good to see them winning, but you still have to keep the long term in mind. Like,
I don't know. Let's take the Heat as proxy, and then this kind of moves you into the other free agents. But like, the Heat keep drafting in the teens. Like they obviously hit the lottery with Wade a million years ago, but they draft in the teens. They have a location and they have a GM that's kind of like showing a path, and there's a culture and development, and they're just always kind of in the conversation, even when they're not that good.
But like,
And they bring
Vio
people
was a
wanna
lot.
go.
But I think,
So you get-
again, getting back to this, what team with Jimmy Butler as your best option is winning anything?
They
Oh
went to the
no.
finals.
Oh no.
Jimmy Butler.
Barely though. Like,
I love Jimmy Butler. Do not diss
We
Jimmy
know.
Butler.
We know.
I don't think that team will get back to the finals. They won't. They have to
No.
land someone like
It's because the Nets are stupid.
no,
The
but it
Nets
doesn't
are
matter. Even
stupid.
without the Nets, like they just aren't better than the Sixers, the
Griffin looks
Bucks.
good,
I
too.
guess the
It kinda
Nets do.
hurts.
Like
Like,
even the
in
Celtics, I
2
think are fundamentally with a few structural changes better than them. Like I think Tatum and Brown are both legitimate pieces that have more finals potential than Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and like whatever Tyler Hero's doing this year. I just like
Tyler Hero hasn't been good this year.
Our hero sucks ass.
exactly, but I'm just saying like it's
And if you
the
think about who-
roadmap to get good. You have to draft like a legitimate star. You do, and if you
have
don't,
to have
it
a
doesn't
star.
happen. And that's why like. Do I have confidence that it's RJ Barrett? Probably not. I think he's a number 2.
Look at the Sixers.
Look at
Think
the
about what they're
Sixers.
Sixers are also good.
But exactly, but they drafted Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. They
And
have two.
you can make
And
it's not
Markel
like,
Fultz.
okay, you
And
don't have
well-
to draft high to necessarily get a star. Like if you look at the Bucks and Giannis, Giannis was the 15th overall pick, right? And so like you
Fine.
can get lucky like that. Devin Booker was 13, right?
It's
So
a little harder though.
it is harder when you're the Sixers and you have so many first round draft picks. You get lucky. You get a Ben Simmons. You get a Joel Embiid. You get a right. So Markel Fultz, but Markel Fultz was a bust because he just got injured. But
But that's the thing. Like,
I was so big on Fultz. It kind of
no, I know.
That
And-
sounds
and-
right.
But I think that's the thing. Like, you
He's
can't
like
really.
Dwayne Wade in college.
He was good, but I mean, look, I mean, both.
He
yeah,
averaged
the
like
Lakers did-
25, 5 and 5. He blocked shots, stole the ball. He's
But
like
college
6'4",
stats, it's like it's
athletic
meaningless.
as
I don't
shit.
know.
Yeah, it's tough. But that's kind of my point, though, is that like it's you have to draft the guy for your franchise, and then that's what you build around, and then you start putting these pieces together. Like the Knicks don't have that right now.
I think the wrench that came into this was like no one thought Randall. The
No,
second
of course
Randall
not.
like popped off, I think everyone was like, oh, okay,
Became an all-star.
we have to change the
Mhm.
plan. Because I think the plan was the tank and then maybe trade Randall to deadline.
Well, because he was
And-
atrocious. He was atrocious last year. Like honestly, unwatchable. It was so frustrating, and that's what.
Also, I don't necessarily know how well suited you guys are playing RJ Barrett and Randall 40 minutes a game literally every night.
Well, I hate Tibbs, but that's a whole other conversation.
That's
His rotations are
vintage Tibbs.
absolute garbage. Yeah,
That's classic.
it is a
Tibbs.
nightmare watching him do
I don't even know
stuff.
That being said,
how
it was a-
big your rotation is, but
It was a festival of lights the other night. Just watch, like I've never seen a blowout Knicks win like that. Like you just enjoy it when
Did
you.
they
That's
blow
why-
out the other night?
The Wizards,
They blew out the
baby.
Wizards.
Oh,
Okay, sick.
Yeah, no.
damn, you guys
If
beat
you
the
can, if
Wizards?
you can curb stomp somebody, you just do it. You know, and we did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. All right, well, enough of the Knicks.
I know
'cause
we
I'm-
went long Knicks convo,
'cause
but good.
Fuck the Knicks. God damn it. I love them, but they're a disaster. It's a nightmare. All right, who else are we talking about? Who else is doing?
Pivot to the Nets, how they're infuriating because they are sick and I hate them.
Blake Griffin in 2 weeks is going to start starting, which makes me really
He's going to be
mad.
dunking from the 3-point
As
line
soon
in
as-
2 weeks.
'Cause
Is
he's
he
out of
actually
shape
playing
right
that
now.
well though? I know he dunked.
He-
but, like,
He's fine.
I just think he has to get back into shape. He has to get back into the rhythm of NBA basketball,
Mhm.
and it'll be fine. He'll be a starting piece. He's not going to be Blake Griffin, but he won't be.
He's
I also
fine.
saw
He's
them.
pretty washed.
I saw the Nets are also linked. If JJ Redick gets bought out, he might go
God
there,
damn it.
which
That's
just
This is
sucks.
so
Like,
annoying.
It's so stupid. And then Norman Powell ended. I just feel like every day I go on social media and
Like the net
Drummond is put into another team's jersey every day. Like everyone's interested in him, but I've seen the Brooklyn scenario. Like God, I just don't understand. I don't understand how Brooklyn can bring all these people in.
because if they're
I
willing to
don't.
take them
buy
in,
out.
they have. Well, that's the thing. If they're willing to take no money and just go win a championship, like welcome aboard.
am-
We'll cut
I'm
for-
right now like 5 blocks south of Barclays, so I could go in there and kind of give them a piece of my mind. I don't know if they're playing tonight, but
You should cough on James Harden and see if you can.
They're playing. They're
yeah,
playing
I could
Utah.
go to
I don't know
jail.
if they're home though.
Interesting.
Let's take a look. I think I have it up.
Yeah. Should I go heckle them from
The
outside?
Nets are.
The JJ Redick getting added to the Nets. I don't know how much. I mean, obviously Joe Harris has been unreal this year, and I'm sure JJ Redick would play like the same exact role. It's just like you take Joe Harris off, you put JJ Redick in, and that's the difference there. So
The other thing that's just crazy is they've been doing all of this winning without Durant. And it's
Yeah.
you just throw him into. I'm sure it could lead to some issues, but probably not because
Why
he's
not?
really going to be
They
more
were-
off-ball anyway.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be unstoppable.
it's like
still-
here nor there with Kevin Durant. I don't know. Does it really at this if you're playing the weak Eastern Conference teams and you have two of the top 20 players in the NBA? I mean, James Harden's top 5, Kyrie's top 15. So
Did you put Durant top 5? Because when healthy, right?
Durant's top 2 when healthy. It's LeBron and KD.
Yes. No, the problem with them is they don't have a center, which is why it would make sense for
They're going to
Drummond.
score 300 points a game. It doesn't
Nick
matter.
Claxton.
But they can't play
Claxton has
defense.
looked
I
good for
still
them.
think
Man.
I still think if the Lakers are healthy, the Lakers will beat them in 7 games.
Defense is-
Only because AD would just go off.
He would go off, and I will just point out in the bubble when the Rockets played the Lakers, Harden couldn't do anything. Harden could not do anything. Everyone was too big.
Caruso, baby.
Everyone was too big and physical, and it just.
I'm not looking I was kind of down on the Lakers going into the bubble as well. I don't know. I'm just kind of naturally pessimistic about them.
I think it's so hard to judge anything right now because I think these contenders, the Lakers and the Nets, I think their teams are going to look slightly different.
So
I think people like the Jazz, you could probably put a ceiling on right
Yeah,
now.
fuck
The
the
Suns,
Jazz.
you could probably put a ceiling on right now. The Nuggets, you could probably put a ceiling on right now. But these big market teams that are in all these talks with the buyouts and the trades and whatnot, it's so hard to say it's so hard to say oh, it's Lakers in 6 right now. I don't think you can say that because you just
I'd
don't know
say-
who's going to be on their roster.
I'll say.
Right? And we talk
but
about
you don't
Drummond,
think-
realistically, Drummond's choosing between whether or not he wants to be in the East to contend for a championship or he wants to be in the West to contend for a championship, which limits his teams to 3 options really.
Well-
Nets, Clippers, Lakers. So
And the Knicks apparently.
And I mean,
he's not going to choose the Knicks.
Might. I have no idea what motivates Andre Drummond to do anything.
Andre Drummond would choose the Knicks if the Knicks were willing to offer him $25 million for
He's-
4 years right
he's a
now.
complete wild card.
He's
I
He's
also
gonna take a vet minimum for a champion. For a
I
ring.
truly wouldn't though count out the Heat if they get LaMarcus Aldridge. I wouldn't.
Well, I think
Not
the
tough.
domino that needs to fall, and that's one of them. He's kind of washed. I think it's Kyle Lowry. If he goes to the Sixers or the Heat, that definitely changes the dynamic in the East.
If Lowry's on the
Totally.
Sixers,
Mhm.
I think the Nets have more to deal with. I think
I
the
mean, they
Bucks
already
can
do.
give the Nets a run. I think the Bucks can give the Nets a run, depending on whether or
Don't
not.
fear the deer. Fuck Milwaukee. They suck.
I
Bud
think if-
sucks.
I think
Build a
if
wall around Giannis.
I think if Drew
80
Holiday and Chris Middleton show out and Giannis is still consistent in the playoffs, I think the Bucks
They
realistically
match up well.
challenge somebody.
I like that they got the Tuck wagon, PJ Tucker.
I think that's a good addition too. I think
Is
just
it?
adds
Is
spacing.
PJ Tucker still
Just big.
good?
I think it lets you at the end of games in the playoffs, you can put Giannis at the 5 and him at the 4. Just defensively, it might allow that a little easier. And
I mean, PJ Tucker just put the clamps on Jaylen Brown. So
Yeah, I'm watching the Tuck wagon in action right now. He looks beefy.
but no, I do. I think even as is right now, I do think that the Nets have an issue matching up with Philadelphia mainly. I do think Embiid
I
kind of
think
gives the
Embiid
same
is a
thing that
problem
Davis
for
is.
everybody. There's nobody in the league who can guard Embiid. Name a player right now who could guard Embiid.
Wait, can we rehash the Embiid or Simmons if you could only have one? Because I've been on the Embiid train for decades.
Embiid.
Yeah.
And
and
I've taken a
Never
lot of
trade your
flack.
all-star big.
I
with that.
still, yeah, I don't know.
I remember I said when we did the trade or blow it up or keep it together thing, I said trade Embiid and get everything you can and keep Simmons. But I would have to probably change that.
Of course.
I've been saying Embiid too. I'm pretty sure he's
yeah.
on the right side of history there.
Hell yeah. Tim is somewhere he just got his blood pressure just went through the roof.
Tim?
somewhere.
In all fairness, though, Ben Simmons is probably the best defender in the NBA right now.
Ben Simmons is unreal. I don't
I mean,
want to not state that. He's very, very good.
I think
He's
if
just
Embiid
not
can stay
Embiid.
healthy, which evidently is a big question mark.
They're doing the same
He's
thing
probably-
that LeBron and AD are doing. They're like, oh, Embiid's so hurt, he can't play, but they're just taking it easy. They're going to coast to the playoffs.
It's
They got
easier
Doc
to
Rivers,
coast in
he
the
knows
East
the
though.
routine.
The Lakers coasting, they might drop to the 6 or something.
Right, that's what I mean. So, oh my God, the Sixers are the 3 seed in the East, and like they play the Nets in the conference finals now instead of playing them in the second round.
I think people are learning their lesson from the 73-9 Warriors, and then that like 50 whatever win Buck team or 60 win Buck team.
Where you're the first seed and then you have to play somebody
where you have a first seed, but everyone's gassed because you were actually playing everybody,
right.
rather than resting them.
Also,
Yeah,
the Bucks. Bear in mind that they suck, and Bud is just
why
an
do you hate
atrocious. Well, like Bud, like not playing Giannis more than like 20 minutes a game. It's just like it doesn't make any sense.
They're just resting
I
him
think
for the
if you
playoffs.
took a hybrid coach
They're
of
resting him
Tibbs and
through the
Bud, they
playoffs.
would be the best coach ever. But they both are like, Bud won't play them more than like 35 minutes a game. Tibbs will only play you 45 minutes a game.
So does that just make you a regular coach with them mixed?
No, but they're actually good coaches. Like they're good at what they do, but then they have their limitations with the way they use their rotation and like in-game adjustments and stuff like that. Like there's a reason they keep like the Bucks keep getting bounced in the second round. He's not doing anything to spice things up or change anything.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, they're just throwing everything at Giannis and then saying, beat us with Chris Middleton and living and dying with that. And it's
but now they have Drew Holiday, which takes a little pressure off.
Yes, I'm not afraid of Drew Holiday. I'm not afraid of the Bucks. Fuck the Bucks.
Let's
go Nets, baby.
I'm a big fan of Drew Holiday. I think if Drew Holiday can be consistent, he's a second option on any team.
I think no matter
the problem is consistency, which is the same problem with Middleton. So it's like if Middleton has a bad night but Drew Holiday has a good night, do the Bucks really lose anything? And vice versa. Right?
Yes.
I think no matter who the Knicks play, and I'm going to say it, and then we can laugh at me when it doesn't happen in the playoffs. Whoever the Knicks play in the playoffs, because the Knicks are going to make it, is going to be so banged up in the second round. Because they came into it thinking they were going to sweep, and then they got like stabbed in the eye and had to play 6 games against the Knicks, and then
we might win a game.
Remember
that's awesome. I think punching the Nets in the gut and then sending them to get roasted by whoever's next.
No. Remember the Danilo Gallinari led Clippers when they played the Kevin Durant Warriors and they took them to 6 games?
And they banged them up.
That's what the Knicks are this year.
I will say this, I'm damn proud of that. Like I think that's so awesome to just steal 2 games against the Nets and just absolutely.
I want that. I want a 1-8 matchup Knicks Nets.
Yeah. It would be awesome.
The Knicks would get absolutely annihilated.
Would get slaughtered.
Oh my god.
We got slaughtered when we played them already this year.
Yeah.
I thought it was a close game. And they had a bad call. Scott Foster made that atrocious call on Julius Randle.
Well, Scott Foster that's a pretty normal night for Scott Foster.
I think we're taking that series to at least 5 games.
Maybe if we're lucky.
But it's a hard 5 games.
I would say at most 5.
I think at most 6.
No,
absolutely not. With
them in the playoffs going all out, absolutely not. We probably get
Griffin and DeAndre.
We start Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock. No,
when Derrick Rose comes back, you won't be starting Alfred Payton.
We will. We have. I hate this team. Oh my god, my blood pressure's through the roof.
All right,
I don't talk about the Knicks anymore. We need.
All right. You guys get the 8th seed, and Alfred Payton is injured.
We win the series. No, we lose still. A little better.
You start Frank Ntilikina.
Frank Ntilikina. Also, Luke, we got to go over this. Ntilikina. We're going to pronounce it right because the guy's an absolute savage. 2, the Knicks put out some tweet today that he's apparently going to some junior Knicks event next week, indicating that he might not get traded at the deadline. So I'm on cloud 9 right now.
Why have we not talked about Old Depot at all? Just because no one cares.
Because he sucks.
Yeah, because
he's not going.
He's so inefficient. He scores like 20-something points a game on 20 shots. Like,
so we don't care where he goes. He's not going anywhere important.
He's a third-fourth option.
He's injury prone. He's bad, and he's probably going to Miami this offseason anyway.
But I find a weird play. Like, why is he just assuming Miami's going to sign him?
Because they have interest. Like, I think for the same reason I said you can't win with just Jimmy Butler. They're like, we need someone, and he's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Victor Oladipo is doing a little bit of like a Blake Griffin right now, where he just kind of jacks up shots on the absolutely terrible Rockets because they don't care there. But I think he'll go somewhere, and I think he'll be productive. I definitely kind of see him as in like that Julius Randle type of role, where he's not necessarily your second option, but he's good enough where like he can step in here and there. I think he's good. I just don't think he's playing.
He's so injury prone. He's already had stints like following coming back from like the serious knee injury with other injuries. Like he just keeps missing time. He missed time this year. I have no confidence in that. And also, like, who is going to want to pay him the money he wants this offseason? No one. So like, why would you? I wouldn't give more than a second round pick for him this year, and that's only if I'm a contender. Like, I'm not even talking about the Knicks. Like anyone.
It's the second to last day of free agency. Victor Oladipo is going to take a $12 million a year for 3 years on some team.
There is no shot it's that low. If it's that low, yeah, sign me up.
If he's free, I'll take it.
It's going to be like 20 to 25, and I don't want to pay him.
I don't know. I think if he's going to get a $20 to $25 million a year contract, it's going to be at a small market, washed team who's just trying to sign value on their roster and see if they can move it for something.
See, I think I've just seen enough of him being tied to the Heat to just assume at this point that that's probably what happens. And like realistically, he'll obviously end up somewhere in the NBA.
I don't think the Heat are stupid enough to tie themselves up with that, though. I don't think the Heat are going to give him $20 million.
I don't know. That's what
they got to. They got to pay Bam, and if they don't trade Harrow,
well, they already paid Bam, and they still have. I think they're
in such a weird place now because it's like they did just make the finals, but like, is anyone like thrilled with that like current roster right now?
No. Also, them being unwilling to trade Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson for James Harden is insane.
Yeah,
insane.
I respect.
Should have just done it, and Tyler Hero started to absolutely tank after that.
Well, because I do think being caught in trade talks just absolutely meant like imagine just being sitting home and you check Twitter and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're going to Orlando. Like, I don't want to move to Orlando in the middle of a pandemic with like my kids. Like, that stinks.
If you're like, here's millions of dollars.
I guess you're right. It's a little different, but still, like if you have like a good thing going where you live, like your kids are going to school there and like you have a good setup, your friends are there, you've been there for a while, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, you're gone now. Like that does kind of stink.
I mean, yeah, sure. We should be allowed to get traded in our regular jobs for what it's worth.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, if I got an email that was like, you've been traded to XYZ company for 2 promising interns, like, and a cash consideration, and then they sent me some like, well, I mean, I guess, and you have no control over where it is. Like, what if they're like, you're going to Detroit?
You got traded to Ford.
Oh, that would be terrible.
for two future interns, two class of 2024 interns.
There's a young, promising business major at UPenn.
I'm traded for like he's 25. Like how many good years of his prime are left? Like
tanking your own values.
Files paperwork pretty slowly.
Oh, another team I want to talk about because we haven't been on here in a while.
I like Matthew being like, fuck the little interlude we just did.
No, I was kind of thinking like of changing jobs, and it reminded me that the Hawks fired their head coach and have just been on an absolute tear ever since.
Yeah, but Nate McMillan's their interim head coach.
I know. Well, it's also funny because he's doing so well now that he's coaching, and the Pacers are kind of struggling right now, which, by the way, if you go back and listen, I said that the Pacers suck at the beginning of the season.
Where are they?
I think they're like, I think they might be.
What an amazing take.
They are currently, they are the 10 right now.
Yeah,
they're tied for 9.
I didn't think the Knicks were going to be the 6.
No.
The Knicks are 7 right now.
Were people high on the Pacers at the start of the year?
We should go back to that episode and see what you guys said. You guys were all higher on them.
I think I said they were. I think I said they were going to be the 4, the 5, or the 6. It was one.
I think I gave them the 6 or the 7.
I said they were missing.
I should go back and look this up.
I graded the Raptors very low, and I'm happy I did because they're bad.
I think I still have.
But I'm chalking that up to the lost season of Tampa. Like, it's just a lost season. Who cares? Like, the Raptors will be fine.
Wait, we got off track. We got totally off track. Nate McMillan coaching the Hawks, doing well. Pacers sucking, but the Hawks doing well.
Okay.
John Collins doesn't want to trade anymore. Like, something happened with him.
The Hawks are such going on outside my window right now.
What is going on outside?
It's just someone died on their horn, and it's just going off.
We can't hear it.
All right, sick.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can hear right now.
The Hawks are such a mess of a franchise. They paid Bogdan Bogdanovic a 4-year, $80 million contract, and they put Danilo Gallinari on a 3-year, $72 million or something like that. I don't know if it was that much, but
I think that's right.
they paid both these guys. Danilo Gallinari barely plays.
He
and
did. He was hurt at the beginning of the year, but
He
you're
still
right.
barely plays.
Still
I'm
not
pretty
good.
sure. And then I think we saw trade rumors of
Yeah,
them
I saw
wanting to
something
trade
that they might be
Bogdanovich.
looking. They might be looking to dump Bogdanovich, which I'm not surprised. I honestly I didn't overly understand it when they signed him this offseason.
So
but
the Bucks
Also-
dodged a bullet.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing drafting Onyeka and Konkwu, and now you have John Collins and Clint Capella? Like, shouldn't you done something with that pick? Like this kid you just drafted plays like 8 minutes a game.
Well, when is Capella? When is he a free agent? Because don't you think realistically he's not coming back?
Why not? If you develop Trae Young into a poor man's Steph Curry, which is still like a second team All NBA player, and then you fill out your wing position with DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, they have Kevin Huerter, and you have John Collins, who's very good. Like, this is a playoff team, and if I was Clint Capella, I would be happy playing on this team that's going to continue to grow, especially because Trae Young's what, 21, 22, right? So,
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I get that there's obviously some things that you want to build around there, but I don't know. I think
unless
generally,
your plan was to have Onyeka Okongwu come off the bench for like the rest of his career, there's no point in drafting him. You should have drafted your shooting guard and forgot about Bogdanovich.
I mean, probably, but I also don't think, like, I do think that there is something to be said about having young guys like kind of mold themselves off of some veterans for a little bit before they come into the fold. Just like I think from watching the Knicks do this enough of like forcing kids who clearly aren't ready into it, like Kevin Knox, Frank, like they've done it over and over. And like, there's probably some promise there, but like you can't expect them to come in and just be the hero for a team and like come in and start right away. It's not right for all the guys. Kongwu kind of gave me that same energy in this year's draft, so I don't
know. He's a pick and roll lob threat. That's all you really need, right? Like some team, the New York Knicks draft him instead of Obi Toppin, and now you have somebody coming off the bench playing minutes after Mitchell Robinson instead of Nerlens Noel.
Can't believe we forgot to talk about Obi Toppin on.
Obi Toppin is the worst basketball player ever.
He might be in NBA
but like
history.
The Hawks could have drafted Tyrese Halliburton. They could have drafted Sadiq Bey. They could have drafted Emmanuel Quickley, right? Like there are people on the board here that would have been a better fit on your team. Maybe some of the.
But isn't that the beauty of the draft? I feel like the draft is a crapshoot. Nobody knows. So like,
then trade the pick for something. Like get value out of that pick.
It's hard, but that was value at the time. Like you almost can't play Monday morning quarterback at the draft.
The Knicks drafted the most offensive ready prospect in the draft, and he's a disaster.
I don't understand why you're drafting Toppin. You could have drafted Adida, who's been slightly better. You could have drafted Halliburton.
I mean, everyone would have taken Halliburton if they
right, exactly. I mean, there's a reason he fell. Like a lot of teams around him, but like even like them sell, like he's better than Obi for sure. Like I just think there were other guys you could have taken, but so I didn't love the pick on draft night. I don't love it now, obviously.
Precious
like, it's to the point where like Obi is in the rotation. I think it's time you put Kevin Knox back in and just let him play Obi instead. It's so bad.
Kevin Knox is another disaster, though.
Yeah, but again, that's kind of my point of like, if you don't land in the right situation and like you're kind of expected to take on a bigger role than you realistically ever would otherwise have in the NBA, like I just think sometimes coming off the bench to start your career could be a good thing, and you can learn a little bit before you're just thrown to the wolves there to actually try and make a name for yourself. Because like none of those guys are ready that I named, and like there's plenty of others like that. But yeah, that's all. Like I still think Okongwu will be pretty good.
I just want to mention while I'm looking at Mike and I's matchup in fantasy this week, Karis LeVert's popping off. He's got 17 points on 11 shots.
Got a new lease on
4 assists and a steal.
First time I've adjusted my lineups in 7 weeks because my team was so injury plagued that I just couldn't even play anyone. I didn't have enough people to play. And I was in a situation where the players that were injured, I didn't want to put them. I could only put one person on the IR, and I didn't want to give them up because I was like, they're going to come back. So I'll just like get through this 9-week horrible stretch and see where I wind up. I'm not going to make the playoffs, but if I beat you, some sort of chaos ensues, I'm sure.
Yeah, so. I mean, at this point, I'm the 4th seed in our league right now, so I think I might be on the verge of missing out on the playoffs.
Like if I beat
I'm
you.
But
surging.
either way, like I don't want the 4th seed because
Mark, you're surging.
I'm surging through.
what are you? What's your record?
I'm bad.
Bad.
But
I'm 7-5 right
I've won
now.
2 in a row.
I've-
One of which was against Mike.
I've gotten very lazy, and in the middle of last week, I was like, wow, I should probably try and win this game, win this week.
Well, if Kevin Durant comes back, I will immediately start laying pipe
It's
because he's like 80 points a game. He's so good.
It seems like, well, and it benefits me for him to not come back because I have Harden. But I just don't see the Nets. The Nets are not in a rush if Harden keeps eviscerating people.
Of course not.
No, but I mean, it's kind of like like you were saying with Anthony Davis, like why rush him back? Like you just need him for the playoffs.
You know who's on my roster? Anthony Davis.
Yeah, why rush him back? It's tough.
He was getting me like 50 points a game, 46 points a game, and now he's out until the playoffs.
I have future MVP Nikola Jokic leading my team.
Yeah.
So fantasy is so stupid. It's
It
like
is.
with all these injuries, like whatever.
They should have limited the number of players you could pick up and drop. Like,
Yeah, it's way too much.
If I play someone, I'm like, I'm not checking my thing every day. I'm not gonna like go through who's available and make.
You gotta work the waiver wire.
I don't do that.
So annoying.
And someone who works the waiver wire and uses all 7 of their transactions will always win.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm historically bad with fantasy football, but you at least, because I've been kicked out of leagues because I just don't update my team or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But you at least have a week to prepare. Like every day you need to be on top of this,
That's
which
what I mean.
makes it.
That's what I mean.
We're so busy these days. It's
Sometimes
we can find the time.
I don't know about you guys, but I wake up early, I sit down, I get to work, and like all of a sudden it's like 4:30, and that's when the games start here. And I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to check my lineup. And then there's like one guy in my lineup I can't take out who's not playing today or something like that, right? Like, and then I get screwed and I lose. Like last week I lost by like 25 points or something like that. If I just checked my lineup every day, I would have played somebody, I would have earned 26 points or something and won the league. I mean,
It's
that
so
could be the
weird.
difference between me making the playoffs and losing in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, it makes a huge difference. Like I've had weeks where I lost because like even if like the player you're trying to pick up, like their game hasn't started, but some other game was like a 1:00 game on a Saturday, like you can't pick them up that day. It's just a weird system, but like, I don't know, whatever. It's just fantasy. Like who really cares?
No, I mean,
hold on real
you
quick.
guys
So on
paid
like
my fee, so.
on an NFL Sunday, Luke, you're getting up at 10 a.m. There's just games.
Yeah, so when before COVID, my roommate and I would meet up at a bar at 10:30 in the morning,
Sure.
and we'd get eggs and beers and watch the football game.
Yeah, it
That's
sounds
pretty nice.
Sounds
We
lovely.
get a beer. So Seattle does this weird thing, and they do like orange juice beers, right? It's because it's like 10 o'clock on a Sunday and the games are starting.
Not mimosas.
I was gonna
like
say,
beer
like
in there.
yeah.
No, you get a Rainier with an orange juice. So it's like a big pint
sounds
glass,
gross.
and you half and half orange juice Rainier. It's delicious.
It's like the NASCAR mimosa.
Yeah, and you get some like eggs Benedict, and it's good. I like it. It
sounds kind of pleasant.
it's very enjoyable. You get brunch. You like get dressed up. You like see all the other people at like some hipster brunch place. It's really nice, actually. It's like,
Do you have a football team you root for? Like, what is your allegiance here?
if I had to root for a football team, I guess I'd be a Giants fan just because I grew up around it. But now that I'm out here in Seattle, I'm like, go Hawks, baby, Seahawks, let's go. You know, so
Yeah, I feel like you have to
kinda
be
fun.
like, part of the 12th man.
Well, yeah, it's also funny because I still feel like I'm years away from being back in a bar. I mean, so like you guys are vaccinated or about to be vaccinated, which I'm furious.
Yep.
How'd you guys
For what
get
it's worth, they lied. They said they had.
No,
a
so we have like
threatening
some
life.
dumb blood
No,
condition
this is,
that's like, I don't know.
not
We
true.
have
They committed a felony actually to get the vaccine.
Well, the thing that I
Think
thought,
about
because
it.
I had the same thought at first, like when I was like, oh, like people with thalassemia are eligible in New Jersey. I was like, all right, cool, I'll go in.
That's
But
the
then-
medical term for shrimp dick.
That's exactly it. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, but I was having trouble rationalizing because I'm like, yeah, there are probably people who should be getting this instead of me. But then
Definitely.
it's also like smokers have been number one on the list the whole time. Like, why are they cutting the line?
Well, that's the thing that's been troubling me, which is that, yeah, because if you're a smoker in New Jersey, you can get it. But I don't know if that, if I count, because I don't know if they're referring to like
Well, like, what are they
tobacco.
going to say? Prove it?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like smoke the cigarette, and then I was
Bring
with
bring,
pleasure, Your Honor.
bring a pack of cigarettes with you.
Hmm.
Dump out like half of them. Dirty up the.
I'll smoke them in front of the staff there if that's what it. But it's like,
But that's what I mean.
How
Like,
many-
how
how
are they
many-
proving this?
How
Well-
many cigarettes would you smoke in a 5-minute span to get
Chain
a
smoke.
COVID vaccine?
I would do as many as I would throw up, and it's or that in college once. Matt, were you there for that? When like I think it was like Mike or someone had like chewing tobacco, and I tried it, and
All of it.
no, I didn't vomit, but I felt so immediately nauseous. It was like you guys were going out afterwards or whatever, and I just lied down on the floor of your bathroom for like
Sounds
for hours.
sounds
And
awful.
then I crawled home to Boucher.
I think that,
I
that makes you eligible for the vaccine, I think.
I think so. I think so. If you like, yeah, really pussed out.
I wish I was there for that. Damn, that's.
Were you not? Yeah.
I definitely was not there for that. No, I wish.
It was fine.
But yeah, so that's whatever.
So I think I deserve it. But also, I mean, I can't like because when it was first authorized in the U.S., like I signed up like with New Jersey or New
Yeah.
York, but I put not a smoker, so I can't be like, "Hello, New Jersey, I've started to smoke."
You could say I was being bashful and I didn't want to admit
Yeah,
that I'm
I was embarrassed. Teehee, I'll take one vaccine, please.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I also am taking hope in that. I think it is going to start being widely distributed. I hope soon.
Yeah.
May 1st, Joe Biden said all Americans can get the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be before then. Like Massachusetts, I think it's like April 19th is the.
Which
the
made me feel
know
less
people-
bad.
Mhm.
I
I
mean,
know people in like Arizona getting vaccinated already.
Yeah.
I also just think there are enough people saying no, like being anti-vaxxers and like, I want to see what happens and whatever, that like it's gonna get to the point where like if you want it, you'll just be able to get it.
well, I'll tell you this. I got the Pfizer. My arm's not even sore.
Really?
Get the Pfizer.
I bet it's gonna really knock the shit out of Matt. If I had
It's
to guess,
definitely- I'm gonna be
like,
toast. Can
I
the
bet you
vaccine
pass
kill me?
out.
Am I gonna be the
Where-
first to die?
also,
from the
where-
vaccine?
What site? Because I drove my mom down when she got hers to.
I have to go to a
college.
CVS in Woodbridge.
I was at a
Oh,
CVS in Bayonne today.
Wow. Okay. So not like
Isn't
a mega
that
site.
far away for you? Isn't that like a 40-minute drive?
I drove 40 minutes.
I drove my mom 2 hours,
Yeah.
like basically to
It's great.
Philly from North Jersey.
Mark,
Crazy.
I'll send you the CVS link because you
Sure.
can, as long as you got to work the waiver wire to see if you can
Sure.
find an appointment, but
I would do
they're
it.
there.
Also, I guess that makes you kind of a hero for driving my mom like 2 hours for a vaccine.
I would, yeah, dude. It's nice of you.
That
for
is
sure.
nice of you.
All right.
Jurgen couldn't help.
No, I don't know what it was a work day. I guess Jurgen was just too busy grinding.
Yeah.
That's vintage
Did
Jurgen.
he like that sometimes?
Yeah. Well,
Gotta
he
get
already
his
got
pay.
his. He's been double vaxxed for weeks.
Good for him.
I know.
Essential worker.
Sorry?
So, essential worker. I'm
No,
trying to figure out
deeply
if I
unessential.
can get an essential worker clause. Like if I could be like, look, I'm an essential worker, and then they'd be like,
I'll
Oh.
just do it. I also like my roommate and I went to like a Rite Aid here in Brooklyn, and like the employees seemed like he went up to ask to be like, hey, like it was like 10 o'clock at night, like do you guys have any extra doses? And apparently like the worker, like they seemed like scared or like traumatized by like I'm sure people are coming in like all the time being like trying to shake them down for a vaccine.
Yeah.
Optically it looks, we're aware of
It's a
it
little
looks-
sketchy, but also like if they have them and they're gonna throw them out, like
And you're not a scary person.
well, I
you
can
walk
be
up
when life or death when push comes to shove.
hey,
I
every man's a
rip the
killer.
Yeah,
think Jim
I'll
goes
rip
to
the
that.
syringe out of someone's grandma if it means it goes into me. I'll do it.
you wouldn't even have time. It happened like this. I didn't even
Yeah.
feel it.
Really? I'm also like a little bitch with needles, so like I'll
Um,
definitely faint when I stand up afterwards.
I'm the same way. I'm in trouble. They make
Yeah.
you sit there for 15 minutes after though, so like I'm
Mhm.
I'm so thankful they're making me do that.
It legit.
I like
it was like that.
I don't pass out when it's happening. It's afterwards when I have time to think about it. Then I like think myself into fainting.
Anytime I have blood drawn, I pass out.
When I was at the eye doctor, and when you get your eyes dilated, like
and
to
they-
check your pupils.
Yeah.
So they have a new thing, and they're like, "Oh, you can try it." Like, it's like it's a machine. It puts like pressure on your eyes a little bit. You don't have to get them dilated. It doesn't like fuck your vision for the rest of the day. So this was like 3 years ago when I was getting this done. And they're like, do you want to do this instead of the dilation? I'm like, yeah, sick. Like, what's the difference? He's like, oh, nothing crazy. Like, believe it or not, like I had someone like faint doing this once. I'm like, that's cool. and then she did it to me. And then, yeah, immediately afterwards, I basically was like, yeah, I'm getting like, it's tunnel vision. So like I was conscious, but I was like, my vision, I know it's going to come back. I hope.
I've never fainted. I don't like.
I've never like
Matt has told
straight
me,
up passed out, but I've had like the tunnel vision where I need to like give me a minute, like let me come to. Like I am fine.
Never
Right.
had that.
Yeah. I think Matt's passed out.
I've definitely passed out.
Are you sure?
I have. Yeah, I passed out before.
Have we told that like
I
in
think-
here?
Wasn't this discussed on the podcast?
I think we did. I think we did.
Did we?
I don't know. This story comes out too much in my life that I'm almost numb to it now.
I bring it up.
See, this is why we
coerce
can't mention
that.
the podcast to people because we talk about stuff like this.
That's fine. I was just afraid that I was afraid that I was gonna face like legal repercussions for like driving high. Matt could live or die. That's besides the point. But if I get like some sort of DUI for being high in a Honda Civic at 12:30 on a Friday, that's gonna
just a tremendous performance on my part.
Yeah,
not bad. Really whatever, it's fine. We got through it.
I'm sure we talked about that.
We definitely have.
That must have been the first thing we talked about.
Probably.
I think we've done that and the mascot. What we need to still do more Chronicles, the Matt Chronicles. I don't know what else.
Other shit.
Oh, all right. We can do one. Survivor is recording again, so I'm gonna have to come up with it. It's a year later. I'm gonna have to come up with a new audition tape.
I'm gonna post it to you. Matt has recorded himself doing. It's pretty embarrassing, and I've tried to.
It's awful. It's a terrible.
I've tried to edit it to make it funnier, and I honestly think I don't even need to do any. I think it's the you deciding to do that is so.
So you want to hear my new idea for my next audition tape?
Yeah.
I get plastered, absolutely hammered, and I just talk to Jeff Probst for 3 minutes.
So why would you think that would make him want to do anything other than shoot you in the head? Like,
yeah, I think
like you want to annoy the shit out of him.
I mean,
why would that help you?
All right, I needed better. Then what's
or
my
what
if
we're in a post-COVID world, we're together, and you get us plastered, and you say to all of us like, "Why should I be on Survivor?" And we say like dumb stuff.
But that doesn't they don't see me. They have to see me. They all jump off.
I mean, you shot your wad already when you jumped out of the plane for Kyrie and KD. You do that for Survivor.
Should I do it again and just
jump into an active volcano, or like for Jeff Probst.
Yeah.
I've never seen this stupid ass show, by the way. I don't know.
You don't watch Survivor?
No, I'm not a divorced man in his 60s.
No, hey, Survivor's on Hulu. It's what I put on when I take naps.
Okay.
At least it's on. The show kicks ass.
I'm on like
I've watched
season
it since I was
6.
little.
I don't think I've watched a single episode.
What's the premise of the show, other than you're on an island and you're with other people and you survive?
39 days, 19 people,
so Mark,
1 survivor.
So Mark, I think you'd really enjoy because I don't watch it religiously either, but when I was living at home during COVID, there was a season on, and when I would come down, it was Wednesdays now. You can't help but get sucked in because the strategy, like they all click and they talk to each other about who they're going to vote out, and there's a lot of deceit.
I love it when they put intense music. They play intense music. I'm like, oh, it's getting spicy.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of double crossing, and I would not be able to handle it. I can't handle that.
Also, if you win, you get $1 million. $1 million. I'll go sit on a beach for $1 million.
This is kind of similar, but I mean,
more than sitting on a beach to get it.
I know.
Have you guys seen like the Netflix show, like The Floor is Lava? It's stupid and kitschy and it's like same thing with Wipeout, where it's like this is aimed at children and me.
And is it good?
No, I mean the show is stupid as hell, but the whole thing is like it makes you want to do the course.
Yes, I agree.
It invokes that sensation in the audience. Where you think you can do it better.
Is the host somebody of fame?
No, it's some fucking nerd who just loves The Floor is Lava.
It's also pretty I feel like the contestants weren't that good, and it just wasn't that hard. But
no, I mean,
they're rebooting Wipeout with John Cena.
They are.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I'll probably watch.
I'll watch every episode. But I was also watching, and I don't really remember it, but there's this Netflix pirate docuseries right now that I highly encourage because it's kind of telling the history of pirates and but it has reenactments with some of the shittiest acting, like local theater style as pirates doing.
Do you watch
pirates.
Drunk History?
No, I've seen episodes. It's like
Yeah.
that, but if they're not trying to be funny, or maybe they are, but like
And just horrible pirate reenacting.
yeah, it's honestly
That's
the
classic.
best show I've ever seen in my life.
That is classic.
Yeah,
All right.
That's on
homework,
Netflix.
then.
it's on Netflix. If you just if you search pirate in Netflix,
Honestly,
it'll-
what's going to wind up happening is I'm going to search pirate and I'm going to
Okay.
see all 3
Pirates of the
Pirates of the Caribbean and I'm going to be like, fuck it, let's dive back in.
Well, I mean, it's flawless cinema. You know?
I've already got 2 shows going on right now. So before I go to bed, I usually watch a couple episodes of 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Cool,
when I wake
classic.
up in the morning, because I wake up so early, before I have to like start working, I usually watch an episode or 2 of Curb. I love
Like
Curb.
that.
It's like the 5th time I've watched this.
Nice. You have a pretty good routine then.
That is a good routine.
And
It's all
So-
comedy from 10 years ago, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
I love Curb.
Curb's great, but I mean, every episode's kind of the same. Like, if I watch one episode of Curb, I'm set for like a couple months.
My most inner person is Larry David in Curb.
Sure,
I think a lot of people would agree.
a lot of people feel that way.
You just
think-
can't quite get away with it because
But
you're
it
not
is
famous.
but it is funny. Like I had seen it, but then when I moved back to the city, for some reason I picked that to be the thing to rewatch from the beginning.
Yeah.
And when you binge watch it, it is overwhelming. When you're
It
watching
is.
yeah,
when
I
you're
can't
watching
watch more than an episode or 2 at a time.
yeah, when you're watching
Hard-
4 in a row, it's like
I've been
I
watching
gotta, like
like
sometimes
Seinfeld.
when he makes
Seinfeld.
jokes and stuff like that, I gotta like cover my face. I have to be like, this is
Well,
just
also every episode, it's like Larry's like in line at a coffee shop, and then it's like he has some like
he,
exchange with like
runs
the
into somebody and
the-
they have an awkward confrontation.
yeah, or like there's something with the barista where they're like, no, you can't get cream costs extra here, and like something will happen with like Jeff Garlin and his wife, and then the barista, they'll be at the same restaurant, and he needs the barista to like vouch for him that he's not a sexual predator, and the
Yeah.
barista hates him, and then he won't do it, and then Jeff Garlin's wife and everyone they
Like-
shat all over Larry.
But
But
it
that's like
works.
basically every episode.
that's the formula. That's exactly what happens.
He's a totally normal dude that gets caught in situations that make him look like an asshole.
Or him, yeah,
Well,
it's
but a
some
lot of
like
the time he's
social faux
right,
pas. Yeah, he is right, I guess. Whatever.
In the latest season, though, there was this. Do you remember the one where like I've never encountered this situation, but it made me laugh out loud. I forgot about it when the waitress at the golf club that they're at brings over the food and she's like sweating profusely. And she goes, "Sorry for the wait. I'm having diarrhea," and everyone's like, "He's just."
and then no one eats their food.
just in disbelief. I literally laughed out loud. "I'm sorry for the wait. I'm having diarrhea," and she's just sweating profusely.
The
I wish
Spike
I'd
coffee
liked-
shop was good.
Sorry?
The Spike coffee shop, how you opened up that
Yeah, the
coffee
Spike
shop.
store. That was
Spike
good.
store?
too.
I wish I could like Curb as much. Like I appreciate it. I just can't watch more than one
I love.
episode.
I mean,
a
I love
year.
Seinfeld way more. But
But
I feel like
Seinfeld is I think it's a worse show, but it's so much more palatable.
Yes.
Like you can
Seinfeld
like
is more palatable.
you think Seinfeld is worse
I think it's less funny.
Mark,
because it's not as edgy.
you liked Kong Skull Island. And
Oh,
you don't like
which, by the way, in like 5 days,
I know, we're getting
Godzilla-
I'm so Team Kong. I don't care.
Well, oh my
think
god! Also,
Godzilla-
now that you guys are vaccinated, we should legit watch that
yes.
together, like in
100%.
person.
Yeah.
When does it come out? Like
let me
this-
do.
The
It's
30,
pretty
I think
soon,
it's
but
March
like,
31st. I'm pretty sure I have it on my
Okay.
calendar.
hold on.
Yeah, Wednesday,
Colin.
March 31st.
Called it.
March 31st. That's in 1 week. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Wait, okay, what day of the week is it? Wednesday. All right. If you guys are around next weekend of April 3rd or Friday, April 2nd, we could
Friday, April 2nd, I'm around.
Crush it.
we pop
Yeah.
a few eddies and then just fucking descend into. I would also place bets and no spoiler like on who you
Who
got
wins?
or
Yeah.
what's the line. Oh my god, there's a lot to do here.
Wow. We have a lot. Trade deadline.
Trade
Kong
deadline.
Skull Island
Oh,
versus
we
Kong
totally-
Skull
we-
Island.
We got so
Tom
derailed
versus
from
Godzilla.
basketball.
Kong Skull Island is supposed to. I think the filmmakers are aware that it's stupid and that
Money.
you know I got shat on by like Tommy and Rob for.
Would you make this
Yeah.
movie for money?
Sorry?
Would you make this? How much money would you need to make Godzilla vs Kong
You mean like as a salary or as a budget for the film?
as a salary?
I'd do it for free.
I
I
would
would pay them money.
I would want
I-
to be involved in making that movie. Are you
Hundred
kidding me?
percent. 100%. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
I just feel like
Kong
it's
Skull
gonna
is so
be
good.
like, it's unfortunate, but I feel like it's gonna be like battle scenes set to like classic rock. that doesn't relate at all. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I feel like Immigrant Song is gonna come on while they're
Of
fighting.
course. Yeah.
That's why I like the original Godzilla. Well, not the original Godzilla, but the one they did that had Bryan Cranston in it and he died. Like that one was good and it wasn't like that corny either as far as like monster movies go. Whereas Kong Skull Island was just
And
awful.
then what was the one we watched it like in your place like a year ago? I fell asleep.
Oh yeah, Godzilla King of Monsters. That was another one that was just ridiculous.
I'm gonna watch that tonight. I'm gonna watch that right now. Actually,
I've already watched it again since that.
Really? I don't remember any. Like I fell asleep almost immediately, and I was just thinking about how much of a goddamn pain it would be to get back to my apartment from Hoboken. And like I took the path, and I was so tired. And it took like an hour and a half, like door to door. It was awful.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yep.
I watched Alien the other night because HBO's taking it off.
Oh, the original?
I mean, they have 1, 2, 3, Resurrection. They have like 5 Alien movies, and so I've been watching them.
Cannot watch those.
Alien 1 is really good.
It's amazing. Alien 2, Aliens.
And that's a monster movie, but it's like
I
a different type of monster.
I cannot handle the thing that goes on the face. I cannot.
Oh yeah, I love
that comes out, the little mouth.
I cannot even watch it happening to someone. It like cringes me.
No, it freaks me out every time. I'm up until like 1 a.m. every night. I can't sleep.
Like, I'm horrified. I'm losing sleep.
I like watch in the bathroom in my dark apartment, and I gotta like
in the bathroom.
I'm like, it's in the shower.
Of course. Also, Aliens, the sequel is less scary and it's more just like an action movie. That's the James Cameron one.
As they go on, it turns into like more gun blazing. Like, there's a lot of aliens.
Well, yeah, that's why they titled the second one Aliens.
Aliens. Yeah.
Well, Alien 3.
That's the David Fincher one that he doesn't even count as a movie he directed because he's so like, he says the studio interfered. It wasn't his artistic statement. It was his feature debut. That
was David Fincher's feature debut.
Sure was. I think so. Actually,
I think it was. I gotta watch Mank.
I do too, but it seems so fucking boring.
Yeah, it seems boring.
It feels like doing my homework or like eating vegetables.
And I feel like I need to like it.
Alien 3 was his debut.
Yikes.
You guys ever watch Mindhunter? And then also, I'm gonna have to edit this down because this past 45 minutes is just talking about TV shows. But you guys ever watch Mindhunter? Because that's David Fincher's TV show.
Mindhunter the first season was good. The second season wasn't.
So I had watched.
Captivating.
I liked them both. I was honestly in on.
No, I don't think the second season was bad. I just think the first season was more.
Sure.
It was more like involving. I got more into like how creepy the killers were. The second season, I was kind of like, I don't think these killers are really.
I like how everyone is just a dick to Holden, even though he's right the whole time, and they all just dunk on him because he's.
Also, I like it. I also don't like Sad Lonely Holden season 2 is not as good.
I just love that dude taking L's left and right, even though he's like being right and then just having everyone shit on you. Rules.
Yeah.
It's basically my life.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm wrong most of the time.
The world's just out to get me.
Have you guys eaten dinner yet? Because I'm so fucking hungry.
We've run. Let's
we'll
wrap it up, Matthew.
We'll return you to your night. Anyway,
so
because I'm keeping Mark from doing anything with his life.
You're keeping me from Uber eating McDonald's. And sleep in my jeans on the couch. I'm waking up sweaty and confused at 1 a.m.
Sounds lovely.
Every night, baby.
All right. Well, thank you, Tim, and to like our 2 other listeners for hopping in and staying this long. This is the Hoop Troop Podcast. Join us next time.